Alright guys, here we go.
Alright everybody, welcome to Homosassa Springs Wildlife State Park. We're getting underway today on Pepper Creek. And this little creek, for the most part, is a natural little waterway. At one time, it was directly connected to the Homosassa Springs. But it's now separated by a drive that our trams use to get to the west side. There is still a culvert underneath that drive that allows some level of water control in the creek. And the property was first developed back in the early 1960s by the Norris Corporation. Back then it was known as the Homosassa Springs Attraction. Now back in those days, this place was more like a zoo than anything else, with a focus on exotic animals, lions, tigers, and monkeys and such. There was a man by the name of Isaac Torres who was a Hollywood animal trainer, and he kept his animal actors here in the wintertime and in between filming movies and TV shows. The state of Florida acquired this property in 1989, and the focus then shifted to species of wildlife that are native to Florida. As they started to relocate all the exotic animals, our local newspaper, the Citrus County Chronicle, started a letter-writing campaign to petition the governor of the state to allow Lou, our famous hippo, to remain in the home that he'd already known for more than 20 years. So the governor then was Lawton Chiles, and Lawton Chiles declared Lou to be a resident of Florida, and he's been allowed to remain in the park with us ever since. Lou's a unique specimen among hippopotamus. He's a 6,000-pound Nile hippo. That makes him the largest hippo in the Americas. And Lou just turned 62 this year. He was born in 1960 at the San Diego Zoo. And that makes him one of the oldest, if not the oldest, hippo in the Americas. The life expectancy of a hippo in captivity is 60 years. And Lou's already well past that and still thriving today.
Something on my head. On my head.
Now Lou is the last exotic animal left in the park. All the other animals that you'll see today are native to Florida. And this park is somewhat of a refuge or a rescue for them, as they are with us because they've either been born and raised in captivity and too heavily imprinted by humans to be released into the wild, or they've suffered a disability or injury of some kind that they cannot be fully rehabilitated from. Now that we are away from the visitor center and Highway 19 for the next few minutes, you'll have a good glimpse of what old Florida was like 400 or 500 years ago. Homosassa is located in Citrus County, Florida, and here in Citrus County we're considered to be part of the Nature Coast. On the Nature Coast we don't do large developments of high-rise condominiums, and we also don't have a lot of man-made beaches that require tons and tons of imported sand. If you were to view the coastline of this area from offshore in the Gulf of Mexico, much of it still looks very similar to what the Spanish would have encountered when they first arrived here in the early 1500s. Quite often folks will comment on the dark color of the water that we are motoring in today. This is quite common for rivers and creeks in the interior of the state to be this color. It's not dirty or polluted, it's what's known as panic stain. What happens is Leaves and other plant materials will fall into the waterway. As they start to deteriorate and decay, they emit what's known as tannic acid. Dyes this water a rich coffee or tea color, and is perfectly healthy for all the fish and turtles and other wildlife that live here. On the right here is a good example of an old Florida forest. That's a common look, especially in the northern part of the state here, up above the wetlands of the Everglades and Lake Okeechobee. If you look in there and see anything that looks like it may have been burned or scorched, that is from prescribed and controlled burns. Wildlife and the vegetation on the forest floor depend on those burns to rejuvenate the vegetation on the forest floor and refresh everything there. We're slowing up to meet our other boats coming the opposite direction. Up ahead there is the only place we can meet them. Dead ahead there in front of the boat, you see a wooden box on top of a post with a metal cone. The first of several wood duck boxes on the creek. Wood ducks are small waterfowl with quite colorful and distinct markings. All the boxes on the creek are for them to make their nests in. Metal cones underneath prevent varmints and predators from raiding the nest or disturbing the birds while they're in there. And up ahead there is Palm Island. That's where we'll wait to meet our other boat. And that used to be known as Monkey Island back in the days of the Homosassa Springs attraction. They kept a band of squirrel monkeys on that island because squirrel monkeys don't swim. And the old boats would pull up there and feed those monkeys. And the monkeys would jump on and off the boats and steal hats and sunglasses and purses and cameras. Current day Monkey Island is located in the Homosassa River. Take a ride down Fishbowl Drive all the way to the end. You'll find the Florida Cracker Resort. And if you go in there and visit the monkey bar, you'll be able to see the descendants of the monkeys that used to live on this island here. Now, this area of the Nature Coast has long been popular with people. There were ancient natives that lived here for nearly 2,000 years before the Spanish first arrived. And that was well before Miccosukee and Seminole tribes became some of the first Florida transplants. The Miccosukee and Seminole people are members of the Creek Nation, and the Creek Nation called Alabama, Georgia, and the Carolinas home before they were displaced. The first general store in the area was opened adjacent to the Homosassa Springs. In the early 1840s, that was done by a military man and surveyor named William Cooley. And in the early 1900s, before people had automobiles and access to commercial airline flights, folks would jump on a train and ride the rails down here to escape the cold northern winters, swim in the springs, and eat local seafood that we are famous for. That started the first of several land booms and busts in the area. Land speculators flooded this area thinking they might develop much of it for some of the first snowbirds. Coming up ahead here on the right, you'll see a concrete pyramid that is left over from that period of time. And that was meant to be a footer for a water tower for a proposed development on this site here. But due to the stock market crash of 1929 and the Great Depression that followed, that development was never realized, and this area remained a green space ever since. If anybody cares to learn more about the ancient natives that lived here many centuries ago, you can visit another Florida state park up Highway 19 in Crystal River, you'll find the Crystal River Archaeological State Park. That park contains a complex of 6 mounds that were built by those ancient people. It is thought to be one of the longest continuously occupied sites in all of Florida. A place of ceremony and burial, and also a spot that they would gather at for many miles around to engage in trade and social activity. Next point of interest coming up here is going to be Osprey Island. To come around this corner here, look up ahead into the tallest tree on the island, about 2/3 of the way up. You can see the nest in the crook of the tree. That nest has been kept active by the same pair of mating osprey for several years. The osprey is a bird that mates for life, and the pairs will separate at the end of a breeding season, but the same pair of birds will return to the same nest year after year as long as they're both alive. And now up ahead there, you can see the tram drive that I spoke of when we were leaving. Homosassa Springs is located just several yards on the other side of that drive. Make sure to step down into the Fishbowl Underwater Observatory today during your visit. You will probably see a lot of fish in there, but you'll also be standing right in the middle of a 50-foot deep first magnitude spring. It is the headwaters of the Homosassa River. That one spring puts out 60 to 70 million gallons of fresh water every day. Here in Florida, we have one of the heaviest concentrations of freshwater springs in the world. And all of those springs put out fresh water from an underground aquifer that runs into Florida from as far north as northern Georgia. Couple of notes to help you plan the rest of your visit today, folks. Our tour boats leave this dock, going back to the other visitor center that we left every 30 minutes at the top and the bottom of the hour. We do run a prompt schedule. You'll be better off being a few minutes early than a few minutes late. Last boat leaves at 3:30. Wildlife Walk closes at 5. The entire park closes at 5:30. And our tram system runs a continuous loop about every 15 minutes all the way up until closing time. Just a reminder, folks, as I prepare to pull in, please remain seated until I get the ramp down for you. And mind your arms and legs on the railing as I pull into this narrow slip. Excuse me, everybody.
Some fishy.
All right, everybody, welcome to step on the ramp.
I'm tired.
Huh?
Before you come to talk, everybody. You'd be surprised. Not me, but other people.
Thank
Y'all
you.
enjoy yourselves in the park. Yes, sir, you too.
Huh?
What?
This comes from Phil.
One, two, homosexuals. Alex, jump up. 3.
That's what. You take the boat back.
Oh, Andy, look at the jasmine growing on top of the pergola.
You gonna just drive over here and done this?
That's one thing I want to find a good place.
Maybe you're gonna run your battery down. Better go take small little videos and hold them together. Yeah, but then you have a whole bunch of jump cuts. Jump cuts when you have the small little videos. Oh, Andy, I want that. See how that's just.
Oh, I want to do it right there on the other side of the building.
Yeah. Alright, guys, so now we're walking into the gift shop and food center. We're going to call this the Everything Center. It's got about everything you probably should know about and need from this trip.
In Hernando County.
It's like really hot right now. The sun beaming down on it. Good thing we're in shade a lot. That's cute. That is adorable. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to take a picture of that. Going back around. I'm taking a picture. Talking about a video, record a video, not that near too, take a picture. That cool?
Brilliant.
Sorry. That is crystal clear waters right there. Kind of like the waters at Three Sisters Springs. It's really nice.
Very pretty.
Here. I'll wait in. I'll just stand over here.
Like the last flash, huh?
Yes. Turn out. Huh?
I see it lighting it up, and all going through the other stuff.
Perfect picture moment with the crystal clear waters. Looks like it's got a depth meter. Place is cool. Picture moment.
Alright, look up here.
Oh, hold on.
Over there, face that's that underwater.
I didn't know that. Thank you. Hold that real fast. Look, watch this. Honey, you need to turn that. Why? Just splice together a bunch of.
Oh, where you at?
Maybe but it's a lot easier because you don't have all these little jump cuts all over the video. You'll learn. Yeah. Most people won't watch that long of a video unless it's extremely informational. So like all of this needs to be chopped off. The Nile hippopotamus. This is Lou. His name is Lou. And his butt is right there. His butt. There's Lou. It's a hippopotamus. Hippo. Got hippos. Ooh, we got gators.
Wildlife walk.
We got gators. Somewhere. I don't see them. I don't see them gators. I don't see them. Lou! Hey, Lou, what's up, man?
Hey.
Hey, buddy. Hello. Hey, Lou.
Come see us, Lou.
What's up, dude? It's like, quit talking to me. I'm trying to sleep. Hey there, Lou.
Come on, buddy.
What you doing, man? Want to do the river walk or we go this way?
Sleep on the water.
And they're good. Goodbye, Lou.
Bye, Lou. Yes. Peace out, Lou.
Peace out, Lou.
Gator bites.
Oh, gator bites.
You got one back to the
Ooh, we got some
There's
ice
manatees that way.
cream.
There's manatees this way. Reptiles and otters that way.
I want to see a manatee.
I wonder if that lose.
Turkey.
The map. The little map.
Turkey.
Must have gone loose around that way and come back.
Wildlife force. Which way? Going back up that way?
Maybe. Yeah, he's checking it out. All right, guys. We're
We'll sit
gonna
there. Yeah, we're about to cut out the whole
go
route.
to the wildlife walk.
Come on, Nicholas.
We'll come back in just a second.